Bottom line, she knew where to find me. She knows my number.
Oh, see that ego, man.
Hold it a second. If she wanted it, she would have.
He wants an engraved invitation.
Yep. Ralph, you know me. Do I pursue anyone?
No.
Right.
But for her, you got to pursue.
What? You don't want Pamela Anderson.
I ain't pursuing her.
Swallow your pride and go
I
back on her
am
door.
not going to pursue
He's
her.
going to wait till Pamela Anderson asks him.
That's right.
And you know when that's going to be.
That's it.
That girl doesn't do that.
Well, she can do what she wants.
When she can't have guys asking her.
You know what the problem
I'm
is?
the man she can't have.
The problem is you say you don't pursue anyone, neither does she.
That's right.
Yes,
Not
until you
yet,
get there.
anyway.
So Kid Rock wins. What can I tell you?
He did the ask.
He's the better man.
Do you think he worked hard?
No,
to
I
get
think
there?
he asked when
Was
she
he-
showed some interest.
You know,
No, I don't think he worked hard
I
at all.
don't either.
you know, I met Pamela at
Pamela.
Natby once. Howard. I swear I could have dated her.
Well, there you go.
Why didn't you?
Because I wimped out because I thought she was too big for me.
She's
too
hey,
famous
what-
for me.
maybe I thought that too.
John and I, let me just say, John and I hung out with her one night for a couple of hours, and I didn't see any sparks of any kind.
No, I don't mean there. It was like.
You know
a
what
couple
I'm
years
saying?
before.
A couple,
Were you rubbing her leg, John?
No, but she like stood there, and I said hello, and she said hello, and we were both in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Oh, she wanted it.
Wait, if I
She
would've
was
said, let's
about
have
to
dinner-
say,
You know
let's
what,
move
dude?
to
If I would've said,
Vegas.
let's have dinner, she would have said yes.
Pam
No.
is a friendly girl, and that's where you can't get confused.
Yeah,
you
I
can
heard-
tell when a woman wants you, and you can tell when a woman's just being friendly.
Yeah,
but she
I heard
likes
she
the
was
rock and
into
roll
Beetlejuice, too. I heard she came on to Beetlejuice.
Yeah, right.
You know how I know she wasn't interested in John? We sat with her for 2 hours, and they were talking about their kids a lot. That's the way you know.
Yeah.
That's how you get in.
Hey, I should make a. I don't mean to interrupt the fun, but this is a breaking news story, a serious news story.
What?
A plane has crashed. Hold it into the World Trade Center.
You're kidding.
The World Trade Center is on fire, which is
What is going on?
Really?
tall-
Let me look out my window.
It's the
pilot
tallest.
just heard you say that John made out with Pamela Lee.
Look out the window. You can see it, or you can.
I don't see any fire.
There's a fire at the World Trade
It's
Center.
on the
Hold
other
on, let me go.
side, Ralph, from you.
Take a look, seriously.
Holy crap!
That's
Howard,
terrible.
I was just there. I was at a wedding right there.
Was it
Pam
like one of
Anderson's
those
check.
private planes?
Thank God you're
Oh,
alive.
dude.
You see it?
Dude, it's just hot. Oh, my God. I got to go out on my roof. This is incredible.
See
The
ya.
whole thing is on fire.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, not a little fire.
No, it's huge.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
If a
All right.
plane hits a building.
I gotta run.
How did it take so long to happen?
I'll call you back.
Right,
Did-
but
did
I
you-
know.
did
I'm
you-
always amazed.
Because you know, a plane once crashed in the 40s. A plane crashed right into the Empire State Building, like right in.
Right.
What kind
But
of
what
plane?
kind of plane? Was it a private, stupid plane?
I don't have any more details. I'm following this story.
I hope this wasn't one of those like terrorist kamikaze attacks.
You know what? He's preparing to
Let's get back to you and Pamela.
sit in on for Dan Rather. That's why he's being very serious.
Yes.
Taking over
This is
that
my
slot.
audition. We go now to Sandra Rodriguez, who is on the site at the World Trade Center.
Hello.
Sandra? Hello, Howard. The fire is going very rapidly. Yeah, I'm going to be taking over Dan Rather when he retires.
Hey, Howard.
But it's a very serious story. I mean, I'm sure there's. But fortunately, it's early in the morning. Maybe not too many people are in the building.
Yeah, hope not.
You know what? That's a financial building. Those people get in really early.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. It's like
For
7
the international market.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what do they do there, though?
I'm not sure if the plane is like a portion of the plane isn't actually stuck into the building.
It looks like something's
Where?
hanging out there.
I don't know if that's smoke or a piece
You
of the
can't
plane.
really tell.
Dude, it's really smoking, man.
Yeah. Huge fire.
it's like Towering Inferno. Because once it gets
Yeah.
started, what happens?
Imagine
I
being
hope they
trapped in
built
there.
it better than that hotel.
Well, how are they going to get? They're not going to get hoses up there. They're going to have to rely on the sprinkler
Sprinklers
system.
and all that?
Yeah,
And you know how well they work in the
Yeah, but
city.
the stairwells are all
You can't
fire.
drag a hose up there? Wow.
Don't they have a ladder that goes that high?
I don't even know how you begin to fight that fire.
It was a beautiful fall day. It was like one of those beautiful days you're just glad to be alive. You walk outside, the sun is shining. I don't think it was. I don't think there was a cloud in the sky.
We were having a fun, regular time on the show, and then all of a sudden, the whole world changed. It was a different world than we'd ever lived in before.
And there was some question, was this a mistake? Was this a drunken airplane pilot? Was there some visual problem, even though it was a clear day? You didn't know.
What do you want to know about Pam?
Okay, so then you're.
So we were hanging out.
Hold on, wait.
We were at Scores.
You're kissing her at that.
It wasn't like a big makeout. It wasn't like that.
But she wasn't pushing you away either.
No, she was just being a little bit playful. But
So that's
Did you feel her
that's
breasts?
what?
Did you feel her breasts? Be honest. Come on. Did you feel?
You know, the God's honest truth. I don't remember.
that's a yes.
That's
I don't remember.
No, you would remember if he
I don't
grabbed
think I
those
did.
things.
No, I
Feel
don't
her
think I
butt?
did.
Like, did you pull a butt close?
I felt their butt.
How then do you not close?
You were just inches
You
away.
closed.
You were inches away from the big
You
Y.
banged
What?
it.
You were inches away.
I
think
did
he
not.
did it?
No, I didn't.
think he banged
I never banged Pam Anderson. Never.
Did you? Okay.
Swear on your kid's
Do I have to go
life.
through the whole list?
I swear on my kids' life.
Did you get hand relief from Pam Anderson?
Does
No.
he have his fingers crossed?
No,
when
I
he's
told you what I
swearing?
did. I'm being honest. Pam, I think, would admit to this. I'm not telling anything out of school.
You know what a good
Yeah.
litmus test is? When you
Yeah.
when you kiss a girl,
Yeah.
and if she touches you when you kiss her,
There was
then that
no
means you can
touching.
get
It was
You can get
very
it.
She
playful.
wasn't touching you.
But if she doesn't touch you, you
No.
get nothing. That's how
listen,
it works.
I know the difference when
Was
someone.
she sitting on your lap
No.
at this time?
No.
Where was she?
She couldn't sit on my lap. Natalie was on my lap. And she got a little jealous. That's
and
all.
so she leaned over and started kissing
She gave me a kiss.
Howard.
But it was not leaving a tongue. It was nothing.
Oh, dude.
We have
Go ahead,
all
Tom.
your words.
It's just an explosion.
This is. But what happened, Tom? What do you know?
I mean, all I know is that apparently a plane. I've heard Channel 2 describe it as a. It looked like someone was driving, a drunk driver driving a car, flew into the building.
Was it a terrorist attack?
I can remember the exact moment that all of a sudden I had always lived under the illusion that we were safe in America, and now that illusion was busted.
Howard, at that time, became very serious about it and quickly jumped from Pam Anderson's boobs and mouth to, talking about terrorist acts and just totally got into the whole very serious, situation, and, it wasn't a joke anymore.
It was like something out of a movie, and it's a cliche to say that, but it really was. It was something that I never expected, and we were watching it. We were watching CNN, watching it unfold.
So anyway, Pam Anderson.
There was just a rumor. Somebody just called and said that on CNN. A second plane just crashed into one of
Stop it.
A second plane.
Wait
That's two
a
different
minute.
buildings.
They
Look
are
at that
two
Howard
buildings, and that is lower.
So it's a terrorist attack,
No,
isn't
they
it?
just that's what they're saying.
It's got to be.
Somebody just called in
Oh
with that.
my goodness.
Oh no.
A second plane might have crashed, and a second building is on fire.
Why does everyone go to the World Trade Center?
What do they do there?
It's a big target.
Landmark in New York.
Well, it's the biggest landmark in New York, really, isn't it?
Next to Gary
It's the
Stevens.
tallest.
Oh my God.
And it's a place where people can be killed. Like, you can't take down the Statue of Liberty. Nobody's going to be killed there.
Realizing that we were under attack was a kind of weird, otherworldly kind of feeling because that had never happened on American soil before. And so we were sitting there wondering what was going to happen next. We imagined that, since they were using airplanes as weapons, they had hijacked a bunch of them.
Now it's a fear. What's next? I live 10 blocks away from the UN. That's obviously has to be a massive target. Is the Empire State Building next? Is Penn Station? Is Port Authority? Is a bus outside my apartment next? What's next? Are taxi cabs bombs?
I was really freaked out over the whole notion that, that we might be under attack on September 11th. I just didn't know who was doing it, why they were doing it, and, I don't know if we're ever going to get, all of the answers that we need to get from that situation. It was just awful.
Does this scare you?
Yes. Yes, it does scare me. We're totally too lax in this country. So you think it was two planes?
They're not sure.
They don't know.
But if it was one of those size planes, those are huge jets. Here,
Oh,
look
whoa.
At,
Oh, my
this is
God.
crazy.
We're under
planes
attack.
Going into buildings.
We're under attack.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's war. Come on.
All right, we
It's the
gotta
Japanese.
go.
It's Japanese.
This is Pearl Harbor.
It
Right,
is.
we gotta go bomb everything over there now.
We got to bomb the hell out of them. You know who it is. I can't say, but I know who it is.
I mean,
That's crazy.
This is more upsetting than me not getting Pam Anderson. What is that, Tom?
There it is. There it is. Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Tom?
I mean, I've never seen anything like. Obviously,
Me neither.
I mean,
Nobody's ever seen anything like that.
oh my God.
Next thing you know, we see the second plane that had hit the second tower. We seen that coming in and hit it, and saw the explosion.
It was a very sort of odd, ugly, queasy feeling because you knew
that two accidents like that don't happen, and then you realize exactly what it was all about.
I was alarmed just like Howard. I realized that this was no joke. I mean, this wasn't foul play. This was a serious thing going on. And you heard the difference in Howard's tone, and you knew something very, very serious was going on, and something really dramatic.
And I got right on my cell phone because at the time I wasn't really getting along with my family, so I needed to reach out to somebody at the time, and I really looked at the show, and I still do to this day, as family. So instead of calling my family, who at the time I wasn't talking to because of my drug addiction and stuff, I called, the first person I thought of to call was the Howard Stern show. I needed to talk to somebody.
What is it, Joey Boots?
Howard, hey, I'm down on West 4th Street. We heard the first explosion. We went outside. We're watching the smoke come out. There's a hole in the side of the building. All of a sudden, maybe, 10 minutes later, there was another plane flying around, and that disappeared into the building also, and you had like a third explosion after that.
How big did that plane look? How big?
The second plane was a decent-sized plane. It looked like it would hold maybe 50, 60 people.
Really?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Like, we're looking on TV, and the World Trade Center is so big that it
Howard,
looks like
I'm
a tiny
looking at
plane.
It from here. You couldn't even believe the sight. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. We heard the first explosion. It rocked my friend's apartment. And he lives, West 4th Street, and that's downtown. And we could see the Twin Towers right from here. There's smoke billowing out of the side of the building. There's a hole in the side. Then we saw the other plane flying around after we were out there watching it for a few minutes, and that plane disappeared into the building, and it blew up.
They're flying right into the building.
This is them towelhead bastards.
Well, we don't know who it is.
We don't know
I know
yet,
that.
but I got a feeling.
It could be.
You can't say that, but I can say that. It's about time we take these towelhead bastards and throw them out of the damn country.
Well, don't overreact
We're too
yet.
nice to people,
Let's
man.
find out who it is. We're going to find out. Once I find out,
then we'll get crazy.
Then we'll get crazy.
I got a lot of friends that work in that building. I'm sitting here watching it burning right now.
I know, Joey.
The attack happened, and I just
You know
want to
people
hurt
down there?
somebody now.
You do? I do too.
My father used to work in that building.
Who does?
My father used to work.
Yeah, I know. We know tons of people down
Mr.
there.
X used to work in that building.
Yeah, I know that.
My wife used to work in that building.
Let's go to Mike, who works in the building next door. Joey Boots, stay on the line. Yeah, Mike.
Hi.
Howard, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy over here. It's like chaos. It's like the Armageddon.
Of course.
The first plane we didn't see. But
You ought to get out of your building, dude.
all we saw was fire. Then the second time, we actually saw the plane circle around and then
And it's
smash
a
into the
big
building.
plane.
We're under attack.
Could you see
There are people flying planes into New York City and crashing into buildings.
It's chaos. There's people all over the place.
What did this? You saw the plane?
I saw the second plane.
What did it look like? Did it look like a commercial plane?
No, it looked like maybe one of those Airbus type things, like an MD-80.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
Howard, anybody else that's out there listening now that's working at New York City landmarks, take my word, be on the lookout right now, because these guys, they like to do these in multiple numbers.
There could be more coming in.
That other bombing, they're going to bomb a whole bunch of sites. Make sure everybody takes watch. And
Where's the Air Force?
Howard.
The Air Force is stunned. What?
On a more serious note, you're a big pussy. You didn't touch Pamela Anderson.
No, we're back on that.
Hey, take it
Dude, I'm
easy.
telling
We
you.
can talk about that anytime.
Yeah, you can
I got a lot of
brag on
friends
me
in that
tomorrow.
building
I'm in the
right
middle of organizing a military action. Thank you.
Like, how do you combat this, though?
how could you-
Oh, you know how. Reagan stopped them.
No, but I'm saying,
You go in there and you teach them a lesson.
We know where these people are.
Yeah.
know exactly where they are. We need to send some cruise missiles over there right now and just start bombing the hell out of them.
Today.
We're always
Right
worried
now.
about the innocent civilians who live around.
You know what? Innocent civilians, so what? They shouldn't be living by these guys, supporting them,
I
all
agree
that
with
crap,
you.
okay?
How about this? We won't do anything.
What about
Oh, no,
Yeah.
we
We
better
won't.
do
We
something.
won't do
Bush is in
anything.
office.
Better do
He's
something.
Wait and
gonna do
see.
something. Trust me, he
had
will.
better do something.
GW better get on the
Hey,
stick.
GW, you're listening to this right now. You better bomb the hell out of those towel heads.
Howard, what was the end result of after the whole World Trade Center bombing and all the trials and everything else?
Yeah.
How many guys?
Nothing happened.
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Well, some guys went to jail.
Yeah.
Big
But like
deal.
4 guys.
Who they- they- where's this
we
Obi-
did do some strategic
Where's Obi
strikes
bin Laden or
on
whatever his name
people
is?
we
Right.
never declared war on.
Hey, Howard.
They tried to get bin Laden at 3 different places. Remember that?
Oh, come on. We can't get bin Laden, then there's something wrong in this world.
Hey, Howard, I
fast
just
it's
talked to a
spreading,
guy.
Howard.
He just went by with a fire scanner. Said there's multiple casualties.
Of course.
Gotta be.
It's 9 o'clock. Everybody's at work at 9 o'clock. They timed it just perfectly. The opening of the stock
how do they
market,
get-
everybody going to work.
How do they get a plane? I don't know.
Two of them.
2
Look how
planes.
fast it's spreading, Howard.
Oh, the whole building's
Those
going up.
buildings are just
Those
going to
buildings
be,
could
they're like
collapse.
matchboxes now.
The calls were important because we don't have people out on the street. We don't have reporters. We don't have eyewitnesses.
The people who call in are on the scene. They're not professionals in the sense that they guard every word. They evoke emotion and they look at it much as any layman would look at something. And there's an interesting angle there. TV channels will be the first to put on the expert opinion, which is a more guarded, a more polished version of what's going on. These were guys who were, just calling in. They're fans of the show, and they're key. That is the show.
Now, debris falling to the street below.
Yeah, anyone in that area ought to get the hell. You guys, are you really
Those
Joey?
buildings could come down.
Yeah. No, that's far enough.
He's far enough away.
You're far away.
No, I'm down on West 4th Street. I'm fine.
He's pretty far.
I'm hearing on the radio they're talking about the plane is inside the building. There's multiple casualties. Howard, these towelheads, I'm telling you, we let them come to this country. They're here illegally, a lot of them. We don't even kick them out.
Well, we're letting everybody in here illegally.
Could the plane have been loaded with explosives or something?
Sure.
I mean, come on. What would you do if you wanted to bomb something? You'd lay it with
just sticking a
you'd lay it
plane.
with explosives.
Just flying a
And they're
plane
gonna
into
hit
there would
the
blow up
targets.
the
You know
whole
they
thing.
will.
I don't know how true it is, but I think while we were on vacation, I read in one of the newspapers that they are actually, honoring the families of these suicide mission guys they have over in.
PLO does that after they blow up an Israeli,
The
town.
family gets compensated.
Yeah, the family is treated like heroes.
Is it Hamas or Hezbollah? Is the
Hamas.
Hamas.
Joey, thanks.
All right, Howard.
Bye bye.
See, now shouldn't there be planes now flying over, dropping water and stuff? Isn't that the only way they're going to put it out?
Maybe that's how they put out forest fires. Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know anything about it.
It's inside the building, though.
At that point, that's like jet
Right.
fuel,
I mean,
and electrical.
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't that building taller than what is that building there? The big building.
Empire State Building.
Oh my God!
Wasn't it taller than it was before? Look how much it's disintegrated.
Oh, you are a nutcase.
You know what? You got to go talk to horses in the winter circle.
Oh my God!
You are such a nutcase.
No, I'm serious. You didn't see that?
Howard, how can you live in New York and go, what building is the Empire State Building?
You see that building over there? What is that?
Hey, Howard, why's my hand bigger than the World Trade Center?
Yeah, because
They don't look so big.
it's on TV, dude. Nick, you're on the
Is that
air.
really why?
Yeah, I just called to tell you that the other guy who called and said it was the towelheads may be wrong. The State Department yesterday issued a terrorist watch for all Americans in Peru due to the extradition of the drug lord Daniel Ochoa to America.
Wow.
Well, let's bomb them too.
So let's bomb everyone.
But that's a
Totally not a
problem.
bad idea. Either that or it was Jackie the Joke Man.
Let's drop A-bombs. Oh.
But you see how it's spreading the building to the right, Howard? It's like it's already going down the middle of
Well, don't forget. I mean, this thing's going to burn. You can't stop that kind of burning. It's going to burn the whole building down.
I mean, it looks like it's the one way. One is 2/3 of the way up. The other's about halfway up.
Yeah.
God knows what it looks like inside. I mean,
110 stories.
Can you imagine being above or above that?
Oh God.
That's a nightmare.
Can't even evacuate.
Oh God!
And you know what it's all. You know what happens? The worst thing that happens in these fires.
The heat.
Start
No, it's
jumping.
the smoke inhalation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the smoke inhalation. That's how you die. You just choke to death, which is horrible.
How freaky would that be? That probably won't be part of the skyline of Manhattan anymore.
Oh, stop it.
What do you mean?
We must have that.
well, you're not going to have it. It's gone.
When both towers were sitting there burning, it was like the oddest feeling because you look at this and like, what the hell is going on? What just happened? I mean, how can this possibly happen? Now, I wasn't in the studio with Howard. I'm in my own studio down the hall. So there's a number of people gathered around because I have a TV monitor, and we're just sitting there in amazement on like, how can this happen? I mean, this is unbelievable.
First, you're just seeing a building getting smashed into, and then you realize, oh my God, there were people in that building.
There was no realization that the towers were going to be gone forever. Even though you saw that they were hit, they were burning up, there was no indication that they could fall.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
I'm watching the Fox Network here, and I just saw a thing on a thing that said that FBI is almost verified that there has been a hijacking early this morning before the crash.
Really?
Oh, so they hijacked the plane.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. There was actually two planes.
Yeah, right. 2 planes.
And it's actually ridiculous. Watch it on a film. Actually, watch it on TV now. It's just.
Oh, this is so aggravating.
I don't understand how all of a sudden one day it's beautiful, next minute no, everything's just ruined. What's that? Oh, here comes the plane right now.
Oh God.
Second.
Wait, are
I
they
am,
showing it again?
Yeah, I am speechless.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say?
What do you say about this?
can't say anything.
I just feel like nothing will be done. It's just
No,
like
no. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
no, you
think
could
there
say-
would be such an outcry
Oh,
that
God.
something has to be done.
They've attacked the United States.
Forget
It's war. It's war.
We don't stand for this.
Wasn't there an attack when they on the
World Trade
on
Center.
the World Trade Center? Why did we never go to war over that?
We didn't have to go to war.
Wait, 'cause this is a plane?
Remember they had all those guys lived in Libya at the time, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah, I think so.
And didn't we bomb them? We didn't even declare war. Remember we had the whole thing about France not letting us fly over their airspace?
Yeah.
We went anyway and we bombed them.
Yeah, not enough.
And then what happened?
And then they
They
did this
stopped.
for a while. They've been doing all kinds of stuff, and the Israeli
The problem
intelligence.
is you let them build up again.
Israel would take care of the problem for us, but we're now all of a sudden we're worried about how the PLO feels. I mean, let's
well,
get
see,
real.
I thought that was stupid in the first
Yeah,
place.
let's just get real.
Wow, that's a good-sized jet to hit the second time.
Israelis could kill everyone over there. They got the manpower, they got the bomb, they got everything.
Loosen the reins.
Yeah, let them do their thing. Let them do it.
Didn't George W.'s father have the chance to go all the way when we went to
With,
war? To go,
Saddam,
just go right in and
The Bushes don't have the chutzpah. They don't have the balls.
Notice they didn't do this when Reagan was
No.
you know,
You need a guy who didn't grow up rich.
guy who can
A guy like
bomb.
me who will bomb things because he's angry. I love to bomb.
I mean, part of that was you got to remember the UN and the whatever the writs of war that they had said it was to get Iraq out of Kuwait, and that was it.
Yeah, Bush pulled the plug. He had one more day, and he could have finished the whole job.
Oh, no question.
His calculation was that he'd
The
rather,
worldwide sentiment would
Yeah.
be against us, blah, blah,
and
blah.
also he'd rather keep that guy in office than have some other guy take over.
Yeah, because the guys behind him supposedly are worse.
Yeah, Dominic, go ahead.
This is no different than Pearl Harbor.
Absolutely.
That's right.
There'll definitely be
I
a
agree.
war, but you're looking at the wrong country. This comes out of Palestine,
Of course.
not out of Iraq.
Oh, I don't know. We don't know anything,
no,
so.
No,
we didn't say
We
that.
didn't say anything about Iraq.
But do you see the way that plane goes into the building?
Yeah, those guys are happy to die for their Allah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Now the
Those are
question
some
is-
crazy people.
Encourage it. Their parents encourage.
Well,
their
that's what I say.
sons
How do you
to kill
negotiate
themselves.
with people like that? You can't.
No, it's really, and also the whole argument about whether Israel should be there or not is ridiculous.
And
They're
should
there.
drag Jesse Jackson back here and pummel him for even talking with that
Yeah.
Yasser
Now,
Arafat.
do you think the plane was full of people?
I'm hoping.
No, I don't think so.
Well, they said if it was a hijack plane, probably
oh,
was.
right,
What do they
right.
care who else is on the plane?
Oh my God!
Oh man.
When Howard and the crew and the news reports started to say that these were possibly commercial airliners, and they started using the word, hijacking and everything else, it seems so real now. How I had said, like, when first they said a plane hit the building, I don't want to belittle it, but it wasn't a big deal yet. It was like, oh, a plane hit. It could have been one of those goofies and like one of those experimental planes. Like, I knew nothing yet.
I was surprised that they were able to hijack numerous planes single-handedly at one time, and I was surprised kind of that someone hadn't thought of it beforehand.
Like anyone else, when I first heard that it was a commercial flight, you just get just more and more and more angry, just knowing that here are these terrorists hijacking a plane, killing innocent people on the plane, in addition to the people in the World Trade Center. Again, it's a thought of just anger and just real strong anger.
This is pretty awful.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it.
This is the most
Does
catastrophic
anyone else
thing.
kind of feel
Since
like
Pearl Harbor.
you
Yes.
feel inside like almost scared?
Yes.
Almost.
Scared and sad.
I am.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for whoever's in that freaking building. If anyone's stuck on top, forget it.
That's the weirdest thing about working in this city is that New York is always
We're a target,
we're always
yeah.
a target.
I know.
Giuliani said that he's made this city terror-free. Less deaths than ever before in any administration.
Well, he
he
meant from
has.
each other.
You're not going to
Us.
blame him for this.
What does Giuliani get to do with this?
What are you talking about, Dominic?
Well, but the point is that really you have no control over any of this.
No, yeah,
No,
this
street-
can
you-
happen anywhere.
You would
He was
have to
talking about
treat
street crime.
everything like the World Trade Center and the Statue of Liberty like a military base. You'd have to put
they
planes around it.
do
And,
already.
But now let me ask you something. Now the World Trade Center has a sprinkler system, right? So that it's not going to be able to.
Well, that ain't going to do
Well,
anything.
that's for regular fires, not an explosion.
This is an airplane driving right into the building.
You know how much fuel is on a plane?
Exactly.
They have no
loaded with jet fuel.
So there's nothing that can be done then.
No, listen, when they build it, they don't plan on planes driving into it.
No, well,
they don't.
This was a movie. Would you believe it?
No, I mean, it'd be great a special effect.
Dude, see, I thought this was going to happen on Y2K. That's why I stayed home. And you should have seen when the fireworks came out. I was having like
you knew. Well, you know what? This is our worst nightmare. You knew this was going to happen one day, and it's happened.
Well, it's because we never settle anything.
You know
That's
what?
right.
I got to tell you.
And we don't face the fact that and I'm not saying it's the Arabs who did this. I don't know yet, but I'm guessing the Arab world has to be taught a lesson that we are the boss, and you are going to be our dogs, and you have got to be spanked.
Will you do me a favor, please?
Yeah.
Will you not be the leader of these thoughts right now?
Yeah, it's true. And I'm not being the leader of the thoughts. I'm saying I don't know who did it yet. It could have even been one of our own people.
Could have been the guy that could have been the Peru guy, like that.
No, it could have even been
like the Oklahoma.
Yeah, it could have been like one of our own people. It could have been one of our own people. But you want to know something?
It doesn't. It sure doesn't
I
look
don't
like
want you to be
it.
the
It doesn't
dog.
feel like.
One thing seems like
it doesn't feel like it is right.
One thing seems like an isolated incident. Two things seems like a well-planned.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
And
people over there aren't thinking rationally.
But it was a
They never have.
They never have. It's,
And to sit down and try to talk to them is crazy.
mostly the Arab
That's
countries.
as crazy as they are.
The oil-rich Arab companies don't take in the Palestinians. They don't want them. And if this is a case of that, it's time to end the misery for the world.
See, I don't think the airport's checking off anyway. I mean, you can get,
if somebody hijacks a plane and drives it, how
Yeah, when
how are
they
you going
put
to
a gun
prevent
to
that?
your face, you do what they say.
No, I'm saying, how do they get a gun onto the plane?
Plastic guns.
Oh, they got a billion ways.
Nah, they probably got this plane. They could go to a private airport
this
and get a
probably-
plane.
this
I
is
don't think this is a commercial
not a
airline.
TWA.
Well, it
This is-
depends on what size it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't it strike
The
you guys
second
as,
one was a big plane.
as
Yeah.
odd that there are no choppers circling yet?
I don't think they're letting anybody into the
they got to
airspace.
make sure, of
Yeah,
what's
who's
going
who?
on.
Would you chopper up
Who do you
there?
trust?
the Channel 2
think there
chopper
would
guy
be
said
some
this.
sort of-
It's a
There's
5
embargo.
mile.
Yeah.
Right.
When this happened at the World Trade Center, I had a pretty good feeling of who was behind. I didn't know any names. It's like, I didn't know anything about an Osama bin Laden. I didn't know anything about, Al Qaeda, whatever it is. But I knew it was certainly, a group of people who just didn't like us. And usually the people that don't like us happen to come from that part of the world.
There was people were still doubting, and I was very definite. No, this has got to be terrorism.
Yeah, how are they going to figure out who's responsible for this?
Yeah, first you can't declare war until you know who did it.
Yeah. I could think of some people to declare war on, though.
Right, yeah, I mean,
in general.
we can all come up with a list of candidates.
Yeah,
but
we could
you
use
can't-
this as an excuse.
Exactly. It's not something you do lightly, though.
Coordinated this had to be.
I know. So coordinated. This is, we.
This is not the
This
word.
is what we've all known is going to happen.
We're all saying we've been lucky this hasn't happened
Yeah.
before.
It was either going to be the Midtown Tunnel or one of these big targets, and someone was going to blow it up, and now they've done it.
I probably should have been more scared, but wasn't, because we were doing what we were doing. And I always like to take my mind off of bad stuff by just doing.
We hadn't had any response from the government at that point. We didn't know where our leaders were. We didn't really see airplanes in the sky for protection. It was as if we weren't responding at all. As far as we knew, maybe they had already undermined the entire government and there was going to be no response.
Where's Bush? You know what's weird?
That's what Bush is saying.
I have spoken to the Vice President, to the Governor of New York, to the Director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks, who committed this act.
The country.
Terrorism against our nation will not stand.
No, it seems to be.
And now, if you join me in a moment of silence.
Oh, with the prayer. Moment of silence.
So you know what I want to hear, Howard?
Yeah.
I want to hear
God
him
bless the
say,
victims.
we will find these people. I want him to be angry.
George Bush says today that we didn't go into Iraq because of 9/11, but I remember that's exactly what allowed us to go into Iraq. We were all so angry, you could have gone into any country that day that you wanted to invade. Hell, we could have invaded Canada if we wanted to. We just had a right to. We were angry.
Let's go.
Can you imagine that we can't find Bin Laden? Can you imagine that?
And you know what? It isn't even Bin Laden. It's the whole friggin' country.
Well, see, that's the problem.
Yeah, right.
Why
Dominic,
is it
you're
safe
right.
to be there?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this could. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
forget Bin Laden.
He's got money.
Time to just literally say we were just attacked.
What country, though? See,
You know who it is.
No.
I'll tell you the countries right off the bat.
We don't. The CIA should.
I'm saying that you listen.
But it's terrorists within those countries, and it is those it's the countries that house the terrorists. Absolutely.
Yeah, but the government is hiding behind those terrorists.
And I'm sure they'll take credit for it anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to take credit for it.
Bush
though.
needed
The
to make
government
it.
of those
everyone that takes
countries
credit
hide
for it.
behind those terrorists.
You know what? We got to wait and see what the deal is.
You can't rush to judgment.
Yeah.
Well, we could.
It's not like Pearl Harbor. We knew who the Japanese were.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they at least announced we did it.
We were in a very unique situation. We're not a news organization. So everything was very visceral. We were feeling these things, feeling this anger, and we didn't even necessarily have to be correct. Not that we wanted to start screaming things that weren't true, but we had the ability to speculate and sort of guess at what was going on without any fear of reprisals. In other words, we're not CBS News or we're not NBC News. We're not going to get yelled at for getting it wrong. We were probably representing what most of the audience felt at that time, these feelings that you get, well, what if it's this and what if it's that? And we were able to articulate that. I think that's why our broadcast is so memorable.
What they were going through on the show was what I was going through too. And that's why I never thought to turn away from it. I just stayed with it. Like, it was the exact same thing I was going through, and it kept me from totally freaking out.
What do you got there, John?
The Pentagon.
The Pentagon. What?
All right, here what's going
Stop
on.
it. What? Is there another explosion?
Wait, what's going on? Is there another explosion?
Attack the Pentagon.
They just attacked the Pentagon.
Turn off the TV.
Hold on, wait a second.
Oh, no.
Let's go back to the... 1 second. I've killed our commercial break. Tom, our general manager in New York, said because of what's going on now in our country that we're just going to come back and be with you. The Pentagon has just been attacked.
Hit by a plane.
Hit by a plane. The World Trade Center has been hit by 2 planes. This is what we know so far. And I got to tell
They
you...
evacuated the White House.
When it was the Pentagon, it was like, wow, whoever this is, they mean business, because now they're going for like a strategic location. That actually, in terms of if you're going to attack something, it's like that's almost something that kind of like sort of makes sense.
And I thought that this was the end of life as I know it. I'm a family man. I have 3 children. I was afraid for my children's future more than myself, because I've had a very good life and I've been able to lead a life of, pleasure. But it was my children. I was crying inside for my children.
We knew that there were more planes out there. We knew that there were supposed to be more attacks at that moment. Like I said, I thought the whole country was under attack. I didn't think it was just New York was under attack. And we expected, okay, is there going to be something in the Midwest? Is there going to be something on the West Coast? Didn't necessarily think Washington, D.C., and certainly didn't think the Pentagon.
But to find out that they attacked the epicenter of our military, I figured World War III.
This reminds me of Japan attacked us in World War II, Pearl Harbor. They were the only country ever to attack the United States like this. And we took an A-bomb and we blew the daylights out of them. Harry Truman knew. They were still screwing around at the end of the war.
It was 4 years later.
4 years later, they dropped an atomic bomb on their ass. And we got to drop atomic bombs.
There's got to be a war.
Yeah,
That's all there is to
but a
it.
devastating war where people die.
No stopping this.
Burn their eyes out with
And don't want to
atomic
hear
bombs.
about casual
And about how civilians.
casualties. We got civilian casualties.
If this guy Bush doesn't go to war right now, I'm telling you,
But you got to know where to go.
we know where to go.
Well, you know what?
Don't you know?
If they didn't do it, they'd better surrender right away.
Yeah, they should all surrender right now.
I remember being full of rage. My reaction was, when I was on the air, just nuke the entire Middle East. Let's make everyone pay. And then you kind of cool your head down, and now I know years later I feel like, wow, the outcome of that day was even a bigger disaster than I ever thought, because here you had us in a real way going into Afghanistan, invading, going after Osama bin Laden, and we dropped the ball and got caught up in Iraq.
Dominic, what is it? I don't know why I'm going to you, but
California. Watch.
Yeah.
Something in the Midwest.
There's something in the West, something in
That's
L.A.,
West.
Chicago.
I mean, there's obvious targets, but I mean, Chicago, L.A.
Chicago or something in
boy, they're going to the Pentagon.
They're doing it. They've shut down Wall Street.
Can you imagine they bombed? They actually crashed into the
Pentagon.
How do you get to do that? I thought that's like that airspace is completely protected. And how are they not on alert?
Well, everybody's on alert now.
I mean, it's 48 minutes later. I mean,
So what? I mean, that's certainly enough time.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
You know, this is a huge country to try to protect, though.
I know, but the Pentagon is a target that is considered a highly desirable target.
But you know what? They probably are sitting there going, nobody would ever do this, just like they did during World War II.
After the White House, what's the next biggest target? It's got to be the Pentagon, right?
Yeah.
What's bigger than that?
Pentagon is bigger than the White House. It's where we have our nuclear capability.
Now, where does all the cabinet and the president go when you evacuate them? Where do they
They
go?
have bunkers.
They have
if they have to.
They have bunkers. What do you have, Baba
Yeah,
Booey?
well, we have the top. We can go to your apartment. We get a better view when the plane comes.
Yeah.
Hey, can you imagine if there was something in those planes that crashed? You know
There
what I'm
was
talking
something
about?
in there.
No, I'm saying
People.
like a chemical or something like that.
They don't
that's
need
supposed
more
to
than
spread.
the fuel.
That's right. That's
Right.
all they need.
If it was
No, he's got a point. What if there's some killer gas in there, some chemical?
We'd
That's a
already
good point.
be dead.
I think everybody. Yeah, we'd already be dead.
Oh, well, there's no air in this building.
We're the
Not to make a joke.
We're the only ones left there.
I swear to you, I'm getting queasy.
Oh,
There's every reason to
I'm
be.
having trouble breathing.
There's every reason to be.
I was
Who do I
back
sue?
here.
We are under attack like never before.
Howard will be the only casualty.
No, I'm telling you, I'm starting to get agita.
Well, don't have a heart attack before you find out
I
what's
feel
going
like
to happen.
I'm very angry.
I
Read
know.
into a paper bag.
I'm very angry. I feel that people need to suffer now.
The Pentagon, it was just all part of the evil, and that was a big cement building, and the whole thing was fucked up, man. Sorry.
It was so scary because we had this false sense that, of course, the Pentagon is going to be protected. Whether that makes, whether it's a silly idea to have such a centralized location for all the heads of military in this day and age, and we don't need it, I don't know. But you would think, we thought like, oh, for sure, there's some sort of protection for that, especially, I don't remember how long it was, an hour and a half after the initial attack, that the Pentagon itself could be attacked. That's when it was, it was just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Who's going to take advantage of this situation and just, try to destroy us?
I'm trying to think who is it that could talk to us right now to try to calm us down. The only person I can think of is on the phone, Cabby. Crazy Cabby. Yes, Cabby.
He can make sense of all this?
Yes. Cabby.
Howard,
Yeah.
I live in Brooklyn, and I'm standing on the roof of my building, and it's disgustingly sick what is going on. Who did this, first of all? And second of all, it's time to stop toying and letting these people come into our country and blow things up and do it all over the world. We keep guys like Osama bin Laden around because we need enemies. We need a reason to build bombs. And I swear to God, if this isn't a reason to wipe out every freaking terrorist on the planet Earth, today we have the technology. We know where they are.
We can do it.
It's just do it.
We're afraid of the world reaction. Now, don't be afraid.
Screw them. That's what I say. Screw the rest of the world.
I mean, you talk about attacking us at our heart. We're on the building with binoculars, and somebody said they think they saw somebody jump out of the building because the building's on fire.
Oh my God. This is just
I'm in shock.
I'm in shock too, and I'll tell you one thing: I'm getting increasingly woozy from this.
And they're closing down all of Manhattan. We will not be let off this island.
Look at it. Look at that thing.
Look at the burning Pentagon.
Gabby,
the
do you know
Pentagon you can't even see.
Right, it's engulfed in
They hit the Pentagon too?
Oh, yeah.
You better go back inside.
They just blew up the Pentagon.
Oh my God.
A plane hit the Pentagon.
Pentagon has been hit by an airplane 48 minutes after the World Trade Center was hit by two planes.
They are evacuating the West Wing of the White House.
It's time to stop screwing around with these people, and I'm talking all the way down to
they're
Saddam
begging
Hussein.
for it.
Yeah.
Countries like Yemen and the United Arab Emirates who house these people and let these people do this.
All of them. Blow them
They
all to
are
sky high.
begging us for
Atom bombs.
major attention.
Atom bombs.
Nuclear strikes all over the
Nuclear
world today.
war. Just do it so that they're flattened out and it turns into a paved road, and
we
we'll
can
take
go
the oil
build
for
amusement
ourselves.
parks over there.
And we'll take the oil for ourselves, by the way. This is a good excuse.
How could a plane hit the Pentagon?
Well, that's a
That's
wonderful
right.
question, Dominic.
How could a plane hit a Pentagon 48 minutes after the World Trade Center's been attacked?
Missiles to shoot these planes down?
No,
because it's
obviously
probably
not.
a commercial airline that was hijacked. Think of all the people on
They
these
just
planes.
said a
Once they
plane was
violate the
hijacked
space.
from Boston, one of these planes.
767 is. I called my
huge
wife,
jet.
and she said that the report she heard was that it was a 767 out of Boston, and that is probably
That's
the
the
second
first
plane
one.
I think that's the second.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Cabby, thanks for the call.
Howard, this is
I know.
one
I
of the
don't even.
biggest travesties to ever hit the world.
It is the one. It's certainly the biggest travesty in our lifetime.
I cannot believe it. I'm disgusted by humans, and we better take care of business, or we're all lost.
Yeah, our way of life will be destroyed. We are now we have to sit in fear. Now it's
Exactly.
time
We're
to
the
get
most
busy.
powerful country on the planet,
If we
and
sit
let
in
this
fear, we
happen.
deserve to have our lives destroyed.
Right. Don't sit and listen to these other countries like France, you fakes.
Wait and see.
Yeah, how many times have we bailed their ass out, and they house terrorists too?
Oh, absolutely.
Get rid of them too.
Well, you know what? Just blow them all up.
There's debris falling onto the street from the World Trade Center, flames and smoke from both towers.
I can see it from my. I'm standing on the roof of my building.
All right.
It makes me cry. It's sad.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
An evacuation has been ordered at the United Nations. Now they're getting everybody out of every tall building.
Right.
Hey, Howard, CNN just also reported that they closed every airport in the country.
Good.
Absolutely.
Let's get
no
busy.
time to be flying around.
Yes, Zolar, you're on the air.
Oh, thank God you took my call, Howard. Now I'm looking at 7, I'm looking at 5, I'm looking at 2, I'm looking at 4. Let me tell you something, Howard. One word on the news about...
Oh, no.
Wait a second. What happened?
my
Tom, what
God.
happened?
Oh, my God.
What just happened?
Oh, my God.
What
the
just
whole,
happened? Look at that.
Oh, the whole World Trade Center just collapsed.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Channel 7.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
my God.
The whole thing just completely dropped.
Goodness.
It actually collapsed.
That's it.
Oh, my God.
Anybody who had a chance of getting out of there
It collapsed.
doesn't
It's
have
gone.
a chance now.
Are you watching the footage?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrific.
The whole thing just collapsed.
What's everything around there is in danger.
Before I knew it, man, the next, the tower came down. And next thing I knew, I was running from a cloud of smoke.
When the first tower collapsed, there was just this deadening of emotions, a hopelessness came over me.
There was a guy that I knew in my teenage years who was in that building, and a really nice guy named Jay. And I didn't know he was in that building at that time, but you start to realize there were real people in there, and they were in a panic.
The first time I even realized it was coming down was I saw people running. That before I even heard anything, people were running, and it just, I don't even remember if I heard a sound at all. I think my body went into shock when that happened, because I think I almost thought I was going to die. I turned around and ran, and I wound up running with this woman and this other guy, and what's really weird is that I still have her shoe to this day.
My first thought was like, I hope nobody's in those buildings. And as it turns out, there were people in those buildings. As a matter of fact, I couldn't tell you which tower, but it's like that day I found out that my next door neighbor, where I lived, she lost her husband. And he was a young guy, and they were just kind of getting started in their life together. They just bought the apartment next to us. They were there before us, and guy got up that morning, kissed his wife goodbye, went to work, thinking all he was going to do, that day was, maybe make some deals, and he didn't come home that night.
Oh, my God. The whole World Trade Center just imploded and went down. The whole building's gone.
It's just gone.
It's gone, and people are in there.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore.
Hopefully they were out.
Nah, no way.
How could
No way they got out.
evacuated that entire building with fire going
No
on
way.
and everything.
It's like we keep looking at this and we think to ourselves, how much worse can it get? And every 10 minutes it gets worse.
It's getting bad.
worse, yeah.
Cabby.
Howard, we were standing here and we were just discussing the things that were going on, and the second building just crumbled right in front of us.
It did. I know.
And how many people on the ground or other buildings were affected by that?
Yeah, that whole area.
It's a 110-story building.
This is our world. That siren is our world.
This is a disgusting display that is humanity right here.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to say here? There's
You can't
nothing to
say
be said.
anything.
I don't know what we're good do. What good it is to have us on the air right now. I don't know.
They're not letting anybody into the city, are they?
No.
Tom, I don't think it does any good to have us on the air now, does it?
The only thing I'd say about having you on the air, it's some place for people to come. if
Right.
they wanna
Especially
talk.
people in other cities.
It becomes a big encounter session. If you want to continue that,
All right, I'll stay on the air for a while.
The Stern Show is like a family. So I guess listening to them on the air kind of gave them a sense of like calm, even though Howard was very upset and you can tell that a lot was going on. I guess it's like listening to your family talk about something and you feel calm, even though Howard was very upset and you can tell that a lot was going on. I guess it's like listening to your family talk about something and you feel like you're part of it more than any other newscast. Because when you're listening to a newscast, you're only getting kind of their side, and they're giving that very straight-laced, non-opinionated side. And Howard was kind of saying everything that everybody else was feeling.
My reaction to 9/11 was, how could you leave the radio show? You couldn't. The drama that was unfolding, the fact that people were really panicked, especially in New York. All the cell phones were out, no one could get in touch with anyone, and I felt more than anything our show was a conduit for people to communicate. They could listen to us over the radio. There was lots of panic in the streets that day, and people were actually relying on us for information. That was the first time people said to me, you know, rather than listen to CNN or Fox News, it was the radio show we relied on.
If any of my staff has to leave because they're still letting people out of the city, you should go.
Well, I already lost my driver.
Boy.
He always says, Robin, I'll take a bullet for you. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
Not a bomb.
I mean, do you think
I'm scared to get on the subway.
See ya, Robin.
Do you think it's worth making an attempt to go home?
Yeah, you should go do it. Go
You
do
got
it.
a
I would say
family
go
to
be
go
with your
to,
family.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I would go do it. And
Subways are closed.
The
Where's
subways are
KC
closed.
going? He has no family to go.
Casey, you have no family. Get over here.
Thank you.
He runs out with
Buildings
Gary.
struck others.
And Howard, and obviously, if you want to go, we'll fill.
I got nowhere to go.
There was no doubt I would stay. It seemed like that's what I was good at. I'm good, I'm good at being on the radio. That's where I was needed. The station needed me to do it, and the fans seemed to want me to do it, and it seemed like the logical thing to do. But it wasn't all thought out. It was just unfolding. It was happening so fast. We had the TV sets on, I remember. We're watching television. At some points, we'd switch over to the television, come back and comment on it.
Planes have crashed into the World Trade Center, 2 of them. One at 9 o'clock, roughly a little before 9 o'clock. Then a second plane went into the building.
About 18 minutes later.
48 minutes later, the Pentagon was attacked.
And one of the World Trade Centers now is non-existent.
It collapsed. Yeah.
And the other one is basically gone.
It doesn't have a chance.
They say even a third plane could be up in the air. All airports have been closed. Everything in and out of Manhattan is closed down. We're here in Manhattan broadcasting, obviously.
They say 3 planes, but 3 planes already crashed. Already. I think maybe that's the only 3.
Would you ever predict the Pentagon?
Never.
No,
I mean,
They
who
thought
knows?
there was a third one here.
What's that noise?
That's one of the military jets that's circling over the tip of Manhattan and the tip of Brooklyn.
Howard, this is
Visibility's got to be shot.
This has become one of those movies.
They must be trying to find that other plane if they're circling like that.
How many people do you think were in that World Trade Center at the time of this attack?
The 2 World Trade Centers together got to be over 75 or 100,000 people. I mean, it's a
They
lot of
said
people.
50,000 people work in the
they
2
said
buildings.
between 50 and 70,000 work in the 2 World Trades.
I witnessed the whole thing from the roof of my building in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And I was on the phone most that morning with Howard. And
that morning I became a New Yorker, and I tell people that, and it's weird to say that, but I'm originally from Minnesota, and I love Minnesota. It's my home. It's where I grew up, but I would rather live nowhere else in the world. And I get emotional, and I'm an emotional guy, but New York lost a lot of people that day.
Bob?
Hello?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, Howard, I'm here.
All right, what's this fourth plane?
Well, it's just being broadcast now, Howard, that a fourth plane, the two that hit the World Trade Center, then there was one at the Pentagon, and now a fourth plane has crashed into the South Tower and actually made the tower fall.
Is that right?
Oh, that was
They're saying that, and they're also saying that the Palestinians and Osama bin Laden are claiming responsibility for this. They've come out and said that they are the ones doing this.
Well,
They're not done yet.
Then let Israel loose.
Done yet.
They're not done yet. Let Israel loose.
Let Israel loose. We have to do this.
Israel. Let the U.S. loose.
Let me tell you something.
We have to go to war
It can be
with
taken.
countries where
It can be taken care of in an hour. We could wipe them off the face of the earth.
You don't want governments who would allow this to happen again to stand.
An hour is too long, Howard. In an hour from now, they could have 6 more planes crash into the city.
Where is the fourth plane hit, Howard?
The fourth plane crashed where?
Into the World Trade Center.
Tower.
Into the South Tower.
The one that collapsed.
The one that just collapsed. The reason for that devastating collapse was not an implosion. He's saying it was a fourth plane.
That's what's on the news.
How could a fourth plane possibly get through?
I'll tell you how, because they have hostages on there. Whatever the confusion is in this moment, we are not prepared for this kind of devastating attack. Because the Air Force was not in place.
I have questions, though. Why are these huge planes flying out of airports, hijacked, and nobody knows anything?
FBI knew about one of them.
No, but there's control towers that these planes are leaving their
Wait,
flight
here
plans.
it is.
Third blast brought down tower.
Third blast.
Oh.
Maybe not from a plane.
Maybe not from a plane.
Because the building could have blown up just because of the fire alone.
Well, they could have had a bomb on the plane.
Yeah, because that looked like a bomb.
I think what you're hearing in our background is Cabby is out in Brooklyn, and you can hear you can hear military planes going over. You can hear emergency crews. It's complete bedlam.
They're trying to get closer, I believe, by going to the Brooklyn and the Manhattan bridges to get closer into downtown, because I'm sure the devastation from the collapse of the building has wiped out. It had to wipe out 20 square blocks around there.
Tom, what are you hearing out there?
My question is, was the first building the one that's still up? The second one was where the big plane went into the
That's right.
collapse, right?
Yep. And they're saying a possible third plane.
Is that?
I don't think.
No, that wasn't a third plane.
It wasn't?
It looked like the World Trade Center was almost tipping at one point.
It did.
I think it was probably
World Trade Center just doesn't exist anymore.
No, I think the one that's still up looks like it's almost buckling.
I think that's the one that got hit originally.
The U.S. State Department has been evacuated. The Pentagon has been hit by a plane. White House, Capitol, Treasury has been evacuated. FBI security has been tightened across the country. They don't know where the next attack will come from, or if there will be one.
All the airports are closed in the entire country.
Yep.
Los Angeles is on alert.
You realize that this building collapsing, it probably collapsed right in on the financial district, which is the financial hub of the world, Wall Street.
Well, that's what they were doing. First, they knocked out the financial district, and then they went after the government.
They were in the middle of actually evacuating the financial district, and I don't even know how many people got out of there before that building collapsed.
I mean, you're talking a 110-story building falling in on itself.
How did the hell they keep this quiet?
Yeah. Right. There's a lot
this
of
many people involved.
There's going to be hundreds of people involved in this.
And this has to be people who were here for some time.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't just hijack an airplane. It's not the easiest thing to do to get.
I mean, and to do it simultaneously?
Right. 3 or 4 airplanes, and you're not.
Look at how long Japan planned to do Pearl Harbor. They did as much. They did as much work as that.
Well, this is a huge undertaking. This is a war.
The problem is we've been talking about Osama bin Laden planning some new major attack on the United States for about a year.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
You know, we'll never know till this whole thing is over, but for all we know, their plans failed miserably, and this is a third of what
they were planning
to do. Yeah.
Good point.
The world thought they were going to do on New Year's Eve in 1999.
Right. Yep.
And they were smart, and they waited.
They waited till a random day in the middle of the week in the middle of September.
Cabby's calls to the show were amazing because it really was like we had a reporter out in the field, somebody we knew we could trust. We knew Cabby, and it was like we had a reporter out in the field. And I do remember there was one point where he was on his roof in Brooklyn, and you could hear the planes flying over, and it was like, and again, it felt like we were in some sort of a weird, war zone, which we were. We were in a war zone, and you could, he gave a phenomenal description. I remember how he described exactly what was going on, and you could hear the planes going over, and I could see the smoke coming out, and it really just sort of added to what we were doing.
Cabby calling into the show was validation that, people were seeing this, from their rooftops, all over the city, because he was in Brooklyn, I think, at the time. And so it could be seen from everywhere. And, he had true emotion in his voice when he started to break up when the tower fell. So it was an amazing thing that he did.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. What's the matter?
That's the other tower is gone.
Hold it a second. Let's hear
What
this.
was going to happen?
We have no more buildings there.
Whoa. Nothing.
They're gone.
When the second tower fell, it was just like, this is worse than anything we could ever imagine. When they were just burning, it was horrible. Now, 2 landmarks just disappeared from the New York skyline. It was devastating.
They're gone. They're gone. They're gone, and, we didn't know at the time. We just figured every single person in them were gone. And that's, we didn't even know numbers at the time. We couldn't even speculate on how many people were gone, but you just knew that these 2 buildings that were a symbol of New York had disintegrated in under an hour.
I just thought of all of the people and their families and what my mother must be thinking. And as I'm sure everybody else felt that too.
Here's Ronnie Mund.
Yeah, I'll give you an update on downtown. My daughter-in-law works at 25 Broadway, which is like 5 blocks from there.
Yeah.
They're all sitting in the offices with gas masks on.
Oh, my goodness.
She can't get out?
No.
Where are they getting gas masks from?
I guess they have them in the city office. I guess they have them on hand.
So you spoke to her inside the building?
No, my her mother did.
And she's sitting there with a gas mask
Yeah, they're
on.
all sitting with gas masks.
That's amazing.
This is nothing compared to what they could have done to us, and we gotta
And
go.
we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
We gotta
That kicks some serious
we're gonna kick some serious ass. It's gotta be.
New York City lacks in security because it's unbelievable that these planes were able to get through.
Yeah. Well, how do you protect it?
I mean, how do you stop it?
How do you stop? You know how you stop it? You regularly go up. As soon as you hear of terrorism going on, you blow up the whole goddamn country. Why should we risk our way of life?
Exactly.
Let's teach these clowns a lesson.
Well, to remind you one more time, these terrorist attacks kept happening during, I think it was the Reagan administration, and he finally just sent bombs over to Libya.
That's
he
it.
bombed the country.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what you got to
And
do.
he said, that's enough.
It's very
you
simple.
want to keep these terrorists around, we're going to bomb you.
Until you get rid of them.
Somebody's paying a price, and he said, you're going to pay the price, and all of a sudden it stopped.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't worth the price.
That he exactly.
Oh, I blow up Iran, those clowns, the Palestinian, all of them, all these nudniks.
Afghanistan.
All of
is a
them.
big
That's where
area.
supposedly that's where Bin Laden
right.
is.
Yeah.
They've been keeping him company.
It's a big joke. They keep these guys and these guys pay them off. Blow them all up and be done with them. And you know what? You won't miss a night's sleep. You won't.
Exactly.
And it's really as simple as they're children over there, and they're spoiled, and they've gotten comfortable.
It was weird. I was on the air and I was angry and I was blowing up all over the place, and I think it was useful in some way for the audience to hear my anger because everyone was feeling angry. At least we were all able to vent. People were calling in.
I was home alone that day, and my children were at school. I had nobody to embrace and to turn to. And the Howard Stern show turned into my security blanket of sort. I got right on the telephone and I told them that I had something to say, and they put me on hold. And when Howard picked my call up, it's like my soul opened up and a lot of negativity spewed out. And I was glad that they were there to receive it for me, because if I didn't have that place to vent, God only knows how I may have reacted. Thank God that Howard was there for me personally.
All right, so we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Double A's on the phone. Double A, where are you getting this report from?
I'm watching Channel 42 News. It's New Jersey. They're saying that 2 more planes got hijacked out of Boston, and they're headed for L.A.
Oh, my God.
This is
Whoa.
sick, man. What the hell's going on here?
This is an organized effort like we've never seen. I mean, how could the FBI or the CIA not be aware of this?
Yeah, heads will roll on this one.
Has anybody-
If there are any heads left when they're done.
Right.
Has anybody
They're
said that
also saying that the White House knew about this stuff? That it was
they
supposed
had a credible report of a terrorist attack. We're aware that the plane that was hijacked out of Pittsburgh has crashed.
It has?
Yes, that's what
It
we're.
did crash.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been.
Where did it crash into?
About 80 miles outside of Pittsburgh.
So in other words,
that's what I was just told right outside.
We don't know if it was shot down.
We don't know.
and there are
right.
people on that plane? I mean, I'm talking about passengers?
We would assume so, but we just don't know.
This is a sick
Have
day.
you? I just don't ever recall a time where a plane was hijacked. We didn't immediately know about it.
Why are they still being hijacked?
All right, here's what I know. The plane crashed in Somerset County, Pennsylvania.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
Maybe the pilot just flew it into the ground.
We think the pilot's just saying, I'd rather crash in an unpopulated area at this point.
Let's just kill ourselves.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're doing.
But now, Gandhi just told me that people are assuming that the actual pilots are not,
I don't think so.
That can't be. No, that they're not the actual pilots. They're just like some.
Right, I think some terrorists.
Howard, there's an exodus of people, it appears, walking on the FDR towards the Williamsburg Bridge through the park here.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, Richie was in the Times Square area, who works for E. He says he's walking to Queens, and Casey and Benji are asking me, do I feel safe here? I was like, I don't feel safe anywhere in this country right now.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
What am I going to do, walk to Connecticut? I mean, what do you do?
Well, KC just bailed out. He told me he didn't feel safe in the building, and he wants to be on the ground.
He lives on the ground floor, so fine.
Like, I want to be on...
He's going to go home to his basement.
There's a guy,
that was their plan, Howard. They instill fear. That's what they wanted to do, was the fear factor.
Don't expect KC to defend us.
Yeah, like, I want to be the foxhole with Casey.
I like the way...
I'll tell you one thing. I've never been, the Vietnam War, I never want to go fight, but I'll go fight this one.
This is something to fight
I'll
about.
enlist right now, and goddamn it, fly over there and help blow up these pricks.
I'll be right with you, Howard. I'll be right there with you.
You bet.
You know what, Howard? You know what I keep saying to John?
Casey, you get on the ground floor, buddy, if you're nervous. I'm
Don't be
serious.
safe.
I'm not even making fun of you. You go ahead. Go ahead. Get down. I'm serious. If you're not comfortable, leave.
Go where you're comfortable, because nobody's comfortable here now anyway.
Being up on on a high floor like this.
Good. All right, so go.
Think about tanning.
Don't worry. You can go. This is a real thing. If you have a real fear, you should leave.
Yep. It's so weird, you think of Casey Armstrong as this big, strong, tough guy. I mean, who knows? Maybe he was the smartest one of all of us. It's like, he saw, what could possibly be a dangerous situation, and he just got the hell out of Dodge.
They were saying, we were listening to the radio and it was broadcasting, that all the tunnels and the bridges were closed, so everybody was stuck. And Tom came in and said, anybody wants to go, you can go.
I don't know what to say at this point. We're watching the third explosion cause the collapse. It's just out of control. Out of freaking control. Let me see if anybody's got any information here. Darren, go ahead. Darren?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Howard, you need to stay on the air. You have the best coverage. You have a bird's eye view with Cabby and Doug in New York. I'm out here in Boston, and your coverage is fantastic, better than the network.
Okay, good. Then I'll stay on the air.
You're doing a great public service right now. You have a network of listeners.
I turned off my microphone for a while. I said to Tom, should I get off the air? And Tom said, believe it or not, you're doing a good job here, and people are calling like crazy. You need to speak, and especially for people outside of New York. So I'll stay on the air.
Definitely, definitely.
All right, thanks.
Doing a great job.
All right.
All right.
Here's a guy talking to way more people in the country that Letterman and Jon Stewart talk to on every broadcast, and he's saying, look, I'm not going anywhere. New York is still safe in certain areas. I'm broadcasting from New York, and he was the right kind of anger for that morning, and I think he spoke for a lot of people. He handled it great.
I felt as if I was secure because Howard was there in Manhattan. I had no reason to worry and go dig a tunnel under the ground, and the man was there.
I was just trying to contact my daughter who lives in Manhattan, and I just got a hold of her. But I mean, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah, my wife Marla is she's in the 20s, and she's in a panic mode. She can't get home. She's just running on the streets.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's running home as quick as she can, and it's scared because she doesn't have a cell phone. I can't get in touch with her.
My wife was in the subway on her way to work, probably just got out of the subway as the first plane hit. Within minutes, she was either on or just getting off the subway in New York City. And basically, as soon as she got to the office, she still didn't know what had happened. As soon as she got in the office, they told her. She just made an about face and went home. At that point, the subways were shut down. She couldn't get on a bus. The buses, or what buses were still running, were packed. There were no cabs available. So she, like millions of other New Yorkers that day, just basically sprinted home.
Cabby.
Howard, what the news was saying was that the plane that is flying over Dulles Airport is a hijacked plane, they believe, and it's surrounded by Air Force F-16s. And today is the anniversary of the Camp David Accords, where the United States and Israel really became tight.
Oh, is that right?
So this is why today was chosen.
Yeah, I knew there was some significance to today. I have no idea what it was. But.
Yeah, it was a big deal to them.
The religion that's causing this. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're doing this in the name of Allah.
Yeah, I got something for Allah.
Now Bin Laden has denied any involvement.
Yeah, okay.
Right, now nobody's
Who cares?
taking responsibility for
Yeah,
it.
but you know what? Who cares? Let's go get him anyway.
You didn't do this one, you did others.
Yeah, you did others.
Get him on the way to
So you didn't do this
Get
one.
the real people.
Right.
Even he's afraid to take responsibility for this.
Well, I think he's beginning to realize they missed their target, and there's going to be retribution.
Yep.
I just saw a shot from downtown right by the zone. It looks like it snowed. There's so much soot. It's thick. It's inches thick on the ground. They're all wearing gas masks.
Yeah,
And, my wife just got home, thank God.
Yeah, that soot is traveling through the sky. I mean, like, I don't know.
It's like the ash from a volcano. You
Yeah.
don't want to breathe it.
Yeah, they're saying
it's
toxic if you breathe it in.
Kennedy Airport's completely shut down, and they're searching cars, and the soot appears to be heading that way.
Marlo, pick up the phone. Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Marlo pick up. She just ran home from downtown. She said it's
Where was she?
Chaos. She was down in the 20s. Howard, Marlo, you're on the air with Howard.
Hey, Marlo.
Hello, hi.
Where were you?
I was just walking back from the office, and I didn't even want to get into a cab. Actually, there was, I don't know, I think it was like, I don't know if the driver of the cab was Arab or whatever, but some guy was punching the windshield of the front of the... I'm sorry, I can't even breathe. I just walked in the door.
Right.
It's mayhem outside.
People were punching the cab driver?
No, not the cab driver, but the windshield.
They were attacking the
trying to attack the cab driver, or
What?
the cab itself.
Because he was an Arab?
I think that people probably thought it's a taxi. It must be an Arab driving the taxi, and let's attack the taxi. I mean, I would think.
Yeah, that ain't the right way to go.
That's the kind of hysteria that's
No, that ain't the right
That's
way to
what
go.
they would love. They would love for this country to collapse in chaos.
Yeah, we have to unite. We get united behind the president, no matter what you think of him, and he's got to come up with the plan. And then let's hope that this dude comes up with the right plan. And you all know what the plan is.
I thought that when people called up and were, saying we should go beat up this guy or kick the ass of these people suggesting violence, again, I thought Howard handled it great because we were pissed off at that point. Absolutely pissed off. But you're just like, we don't know exactly who's behind this. I got a pretty good guess. And even so, it doesn't mean that every, Middle Eastern person is responsible for this. So I thought he handled it well. I'm not advocating violence. I'm sure he said that several times during that broadcast.
I hesitate to say that there's no new information. The fact of the matter is that there's so much information and there's so much chaos that we literally can't confirm anything. We don't know what's going on.
It is so eerie looking outside. I mean, it is just dead. The FDR Drive there's not a car on it. The bridges are all completely, there's nothing.
We're under attack.
Eerie. Yeah.
It's so unbelievable that more things you keep hearing.
They're insane, and we're fighting insane people. And you ever fight anyone who's insane, it's almost impossible.
There's
Chuck,
nothing to do but shoot them.
Chuck, go ahead and say something.
Howard, stay on the air, bud. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So far, L.A. standing tall. We're all deployed, obviously, watching you guys.
A Taliban news conference soon. When is that?
What is a Taliban news conference, Robin?
I have no idea.
That's what's that guy's Bin Laden. I think that's Taliban.
That's a terrorist organization.
I think they're going to call a press conference to deny any involvement.
Oh, they're involved.
Yeah,
Don't buy it.
When you get your cameras in there, shoot them.
Exactly.
I didn't have a game plan. You're doing it, you don't even know what's going on. So I just was reacting to the events on television and any reports I got over the phone. I remember Cabby was calling in. He was actually watching it from a rooftop. I think Ralph called in. He saw it from a rooftop. I'm trying to remember the events. I don't remember the exact show. It was just one big blur, and everyone was calling in. It was something to talk about and something to get new information every couple of minutes, and we were just trying to piece it together like everyone else was.
They say for the first time in history, we have stopped all domestic flights and diverted all international flights to Canada. We've never had to take that kind of action before.
This is you know what? It hasn't even sunk in with me yet.
Yeah,
No,
this
it
is
seems like you're watching a movie or something.
Yeah, it hasn't even sunk in that the World Trade Center is gone.
Pearl Harbor. I mean,
That thousands of people are probably dead.
Tens of thousands, Howard.
Tens and tens, probably 50 plus, I would say.
I would say at least.
Yes, and that the Pentagon, God only knows what was going on there, and who knows what else is going to happen next.
Well, our government was attacked.
And
There's
there are
probably
other.
not one of us in this New York area or in this country who's not going to know someone who was killed in this.
I can start by telling you one of our, nothing's wrong with her, but one of our interns, one of our brand new interns was supposed to start today. Her mom called to tell us she's being held in a garage in New York City because her building's gone.
Wow.
You know, I don't mean to blame anybody, but, you know, it's funny because, you know, you think you're so safe in this country, and we were taught when I was in the military that, you know, that the Air Force is always up in the air and there's always someone watching. And for airplanes to just be hijacked in numbers like this and crash into our own populated areas.
Well, let me tell you something.
Well, what we learned in Vietnam is when you're using guerrilla tactics, it's impossible for the military to stop
And
you.
remember the mistake in Vietnam. We should have nuked those dudes, and we never did. And if we don't nuke some of these countries over there, I mean literally nuke them, fry them, fry their children, fry everything, they will never stop.
You know
they
what I
will
feel
never stop. And I know it's an unpopular thing to do, but you got to be the strong one, and Bush is going to have to make that decision. Target 3 countries over there and level them.
Yemen is one of them.
But Howard, you know
disintegrated.
You know what it feels like now? It feels like almost like, remember when we fought the British? It's like we're the redcoats. Like we're standing.
We're playing like idiots.
Yeah, we're playing fair while guerrillas
we're
are.
standing in line waiting for people to shoot us.
Yeah, military action has changed.
My reaction was, when I was on the air, just nuke the entire Middle East. You know, let's make everyone pay.
I had to review the tape to see what was actually said that day, and I was shocked at how jingoistic I was. And you know what? Even now, because now we're seeing, you know, United 93 and the World Trade Center movie just opened, and every time I see one of those films, the same kind of anger is aroused in me, and then I want to go kill everybody. And that's how I felt that day, and I was just like him. Yes, we got to stop making excuses. I don't want to hear about innocent civilians. Nobody's innocent. Bomb everything.
Well, at the time, I had thought Howard saying nuclear bombs was the answer was the only way to go. I thought that we must go and turn the entire Middle East into a plate of glass and let God figure it out, because we can't have people who are unafraid of killing themselves. How can you fight someone who's not afraid to die?
It's real stories of what the average guy or what these people on the show were thinking about how it happens, and the real emotions came out. You don't hear your local news guy say, let's go blow up Iraq or wherever this was.
In Philadelphia, we are on the air. They're just interrupting for any kind of local news. We're on in Louisville, and they'll stay with us as long as we stay on. It seems like all our affiliates are still with us. So
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the best coverage. You have, access to 7 different networks here.
I know. And if we hear anything, we just go right on the air with it. So we're trying to. We're just sitting here in,
You know how you see the
in
pictures
shock.
from like the Gaza Strip when there's a car bomb? You see
but it never feels. It never feels
This is
real
it.
enough.
It's us.
Yeah, now it feels real,
it's the
right?
exact pictures you see from overseas that you just say, oh my God, you can't even imagine it. This is us in New York City.
As someone said earlier today, this is Israel every day.
That's right. Well, here's Gary with something. Go ahead.
On line 2, and I checked this out, so it's for real, is Congressman Gary Ackerman. He's from the 5th District of New York.
Yeah, we know Gary Ackerman.
He got a briefing from somebody, and he wanted to come on the air and talk.
Hi, Congressman. Congressman? I don't think I have him. Congressman? Congressman?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
What'd you hear?
It's an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. This is going to go down as Black Tuesday, and it's going to change each of our personal lives as well as our civilization forever.
You're not kidding.
The way we do business, who we do business with, our security precautions that we're going to have to take. I think this is driven home in the most dramatic way that anybody with a suit and a blue tie can get on a plane and do all kinds of damage almost at will.
Congressman, were you briefed in any way on this?
No, everybody who's supposed to be in secure places right now is there. We've closed down the whole Capitol. I'm in New York. I stayed here for the primary, and I was going to go down a little later.
Right.
And I just voted. Of course, the election's now been called off.
Right.
But our offices are all shut down. But you can surmise that the members of the Supreme Court, President's cabinet, and all officials who have to be are in the places they're supposed to be at.
Where do you think the president is right now, and what's going on? Do you have any guess?
He's not anywhere where anybody can get to him.
Well,
Right.
we don't want to guess out loud, but he's probably right now in a very safe and secure place. We do have places. Some of them are known, some are not, and the president is in one of them. And it's always good to know that nobody knows ahead of time which one he's going to be at.
Brian, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, they just reported that there was 164 people killed on the plane crashes into the World Trade Center.
Right.
That's on one of the planes.
That's on the plane.
Yeah. One plane.
On one plane. On one plane, there were 164 people.
But we're going to be talking in terms of thousands of people.
Tens of thousands.
Anybody within the sound of your voice, and that's millions of people, are going to personally be mourning the loss of somebody they know by the time we ferret this all out.
A United Airlines passenger jet.
It's sort of third person and surrealistic, but when it's all said and done, this is going to be one of our bleakest moments.
Congressman, I want to thank you for calling in, and if you hear anything, please call us back.
Well, the heroes of 9/11 really are the police and firemen. And I've always maintained that on the air. I'm very pro-police and firemen and the rescue workers and guys who ran down there. Even one of the guys from our TV staff, our executive producer, Doug Goodstein, went down and volunteered. I know a lot of people who went down and volunteered. But the people who rushed into that building to help save lives and afterwards to clean up remember the guys with the dogs and there were people who volunteered and went down and fed the workers down there. Now we find out even the workers weren't properly protected with, now they have lung infections and things from breathing in that air. These are the people who made tremendous personal sacrifices, so you'd have to say that they are the heroes of 9/11.
The firemen, the policemen, the firemen and policemen that weren't New York City cops that jumped in their cars and walked into the city. I was just looking at a magazine, and they were showing a picture of a bunch of people coming down, and this guy with his camera phone had taken a picture while everyone's going down civilian-wise. You see 3 firemen coming up, and
the heroes that day, aren't around to thank them. They're not around. They're dead.
They're celebrating. Wreck their lives. For once, allow us, whether you need Israel to do it or the United States to do it, I don't care which.
To me, that alone is a reason to bomb them.
Allow us to bomb them.
While they're out in the streets, throw a bomb on them right now.
Bomb them now in the streets.
How would they have
drop a
kids in the
nuclear
street,
weapon?
5 years old, jumping up and down celebrating?
5-year-olds. Those 5-year-olds will grow up to attack our children.
They're showing it right now.
Kill them.
If you look at NBC,
Kill them
Channel
for
4.
celebrating. Kill them.
In their schools at 5
Look,
years
there
old,
they
they're
are.
being indoctrinated.
Here they are. They're all celebrating in the streets. The Palestinians are celebrating in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. They're putting up the victory sign. Children are cheering. The parents have taught them well. Let them all live. Go ahead. Go ahead, and more of us will die.
I think you know what Bush needs to do. I mean, he needs to grow a set of you-know-what.
We all know what needs to be done.
If Bush doesn't do it, he's gone. We have to get a new president. You got to get a new president.
He hasn't said much, really, Bush, but wait for him to come on and say, I mean,
Look at them celebrating in the street.
This is why I say you cannot negotiate with these people.
They are so happy. They're so insane.
Unbelievable.
Today, drop the nuclear bomb on them.
There's no reason for those
teach them
people.
a lesson.
Give them nuclear warfare. It's the only thing they understand. Like the bastard children they are.
This is terrible.
I can't even believe that.
Name, but on behalf
I think it's great you guys are still on the air, though.
I'm getting too worked up, and I'm starting to say stuff.
I really want to say nasty, awful things.
I do too.
I know, Howard. This is getting me worked up. My blood is pumping right now.
I'm so
Somebody
pumped
said
up.
to me earlier, where do you think it's safer? I said, I don't care about safety at this point. They're
Right.
bombing my country.
Revenge.
That's it.
Revenge is going to be sweet. The thought that these people are celebrating the death of others, please do something.
This is horrible.
I'm sick of seeing it.
It's
And the
one
sickest
thing to
thing is
strike military targets, but when you strike the heart of a city like New York,
I'm
and
sick
you
of
strike the
looking
World
at them.
Trade,
I'm sick of looking at them celebrate.
I can't imagine these little school kids. They probably don't even know what's happening.
They're all
in the street
celebrating.
with their
They are
flags up in the
taught
air.
to hate
And they're
America
gonna-
at the youngest age.
And they're going to grow up and kill our children.
Yep.
They're going to be worse than the parents. It's time to stop the madness now.
They don't even have to. They do it in schools. It's organized. The teacher stands at the front of the classroom and says, "This is a country and a people you should hate."
When I saw the people in the Middle East celebrating, it's like it just something that doesn't make sense to me that they're celebrating. I mean, it's like I don't know what the hell it is that we did to them. You heard all kinds of stories. Osama bin Laden was inspired because when it was like the other Gulf War. Army people were driving through the desert and there were women in the back of a Jeep and they were taking their tops off. And I'm going like, wait a minute, you're telling me that you killed 3,000 people in the World Trade Center because, you're offended by, women driving with their breasts or the fact that you just don't like us? It's like, go to the United Nations. It's like, you're supposed to be, we're supposed to be civilized.
What is it, Gary?
I'm just looking at this thing off of Reuters. It's saying that I guess an Arab journalist who has access to bin Laden interviewed him 3 weeks ago, and he warned of an unprecedented attack on the U.S. interest for support of Israel. And
right. There you go.
But I thought,
that's enough for me.
And they said earlier that he's saying had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you think he's a brave man, Tom?
No, clearly not.
But this is a journalist who claims he interviewed him 3 weeks ago. It's off of Reuters.
Pat, hi, you're on the
you
air.
know what? Honestly, guys like Bin Laden say this all the time, and it doesn't necessarily ever come to fruition. And
Yeah, but
now
the
it
point
really
is,
has.
I'm crediting him with this attack.
No, totally. You know he did this.
Yeah, Pat, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Howard. I was doing work on a rooftop in Jersey City, and we didn't see the first crash, but we saw the smoke, and as we were watching, I saw a plane coming in from about 3 or 4 miles out.
Wow.
And I had commented to the other guys on the roof. I'm sorry. But I commented to the other guys on the roof, and I said to them, hey, look at this plane, coming in pretty close, too. And I just said, oh, my God. I said, it's going to hit it. And as I said it, it just hit it. It hit the second tower.
Well, you're never going to get that image out of your head.
And it was, when it hit, you saw the fireball go past it.
Awful. It's just awful, and it's just ridiculous.
We've been too lenient with these people for way too long.
We have. That is the truth.
And that's the problem. You look at it our own
I've been
backyard
screaming about.
stuff.
I've been in radio 20 years. I've been screaming about that the chickens were going to come home to roost, and
Well,
we
you
should
look
have
in
been.
your own backyard, what we do to our own people, and we just smack them on the wrist. These people don't even belong here,
No.
and we let them get away.
Yeah, everybody. Our society has become too lenient.
But we've also ceased to be amazed that people will actually launch an attack in which they know they will be killed.
Yep,
That
Elizabeth.
is not amazing to us anymore.
Yeah, we have to just level them all out. Elizabeth, you're on the air.
Yes, I happen to be thanking my blessings right now in my grandparents' house. I was in my office when I saw this flying balls of fire and debris after a hard crash. I worked in 2 World Trade Center.
You were in the World Trade
Yes,
Center
in
when.
the 2 World Trade on the 35th floor.
Well, you were on the 35th floor, and what happened when the plane hit? How
when
did you
the
get
plane
out?
hit, it hit one, but we thought it was something. It was another building. We never had an idea that it was the World Trade Center. We only saw flying debris, glass, and balls of fire hitting our offices. At that point, we were told to go to the lobby, like for a fire drill, to evacuate the building. I was fortunate, for whatever given reason, somebody dragged me into the freight elevator, what happens to be right there at that moment. When we got in the freight elevator,
Yeah.
the mechanic told the guy operating it, hurry up and push the down button because this elevator is going to stop the minute there's a fire in here.
Wow, and you
I'm
were.
watching the floors coming down, 35, 34, until we made it to 1. I said, thank God. Opened the door. I ran out to the concourse, the World Trade Center concourse, and all I see was mobs of people running, and the cops telling us to be cautious, but go ahead and run out of the building. I kept on running out of VC Street all the way up to Chambers Street.
Good for you.
And then because when I got to Chambers Street, good thing I work out. I'm very healthy in terms
Right,
of
you were
running.
able to run.
I know. I heard a boom, and when I turned around, I said, "Oh my God, there's my tower." That was 2 World Trade.
Oh my God.
That got hit. At which point,
How
now
many? Let me ask you something. How many people were at work on your floor?
let me tell you another thing. My floor, my co-workers are the actual victims of the first bombing.
Oh.
They were in B1 level when the actual bombing happened back in the 90s.
So when you say you got out, there was a lot of people still on the floor,
There
right?
was a lot of people because there was one space in the freight elevator. I don't know who pulled me in there. And usually the elevators stop because if there's a fire, they automatically stop.
Well, you are real lucky.
I have you have no idea. I have no idea how lucky I really
Oh my
am.
God! What was your job at the World Trade Center?
I was actually the signs and the coordinator for all the signs and all the directories of the World Trade Center.
I see.
I work for the Port Authority.
You work for the building, the World
For
Trade
the Port
Center.
Authority.
Right. Oh my God! You are so lucky.
I tell you, I was about to call the secretary to see if she survived it because she survived the first one.
Oh my
because
God!
she was in B1, the first bombing. She was in B1 level. So was my boss. Everybody, all my coworkers were actual. I wasn't there in the first bombing. I was only there now. I am so lucky to be alive and be able to say this.
Well,
I'm so devastated. The towers are gone.
Everything's
I'm
gone.
gonna know what happens tomorrow.
Well, there's got to be retribution. Not even retribution. For self-preservation, we must attack.
I tell you, this is ridiculous.
And I
mean,
said it at 9 o'clock in the morning when I first saw the news. I said, now it is their excuse. Now you finally have been pushed.
I mean, really.
Now let's not
I would
stop.
love to know what they're saying in Europe now. All the people who always
The
say,
rest of the world, the rest of the world is laughing
How
at
about
us.
I
The
don't
rest
even
of the
care.
world.
I don't even care what Europe's saying. I'm saying now we have to make a decision.
Yes, we do. Yes,
We know the countries that harbor terrorists. Don't wait to even find out who
Why even
is
let them into
responsible.
this country? Why, we should
Right.
stop letting people in already.
It's enough immigration. We got too many people here.
I didn't know that I thought about it at the time that it was important to stay on the air. It just the events were unfolding and it seemed logical to stay on the air. And as I explained before, it wasn't that I wanted to leave the air. I just didn't know if I was being useful or not. And also I was thinking about my own situation with my kids and, I wanted to get off the air and speak to my parents. And so you're trying to negotiate your private life with your show, and so there was a lot of confusion everywhere, and I didn't know. I kept checking with Tom Chisano. Do you want me to continue with this? Do you want me to keep this going? Because maybe they had other plans. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. Everything was very impromptu, and there was no game plan.
I think he spoke to a lot of people. I think he said words about things what people were feeling that day. I mean, just the dismay and the disgust and the anger and the fear. I mean, I think he really just did a tremendous job. I don't think there's anybody out there that did what he did or could do what he did, because I think, everybody in the news is just trying to scramble, trying to, get all their facts together, and people going, well, we can't say anything wrong because we're going to appear to be irresponsible journalists, even though everything that Howard said that day turned out to be pretty much right on the money.
Was there anything heroic about what he did? No, I think that cheapens what the firemen and cops did. The people that died on that day. I think Howard was a great man for doing what he did that day.
Sorry, Tom, what?
It's these moments you'll never forget. You never forget where you were when Kennedy was killed. You'll never forget the moment that attack happened. You'll never forget standing here watching that first.
Oh, that tower come down.
All I know is in a moment of frivolousness, I was defending the fact that I had kissed Pamela Anderson and not gone any further, and then
Are
2
you
seconds
sorry
later.
now?
Now I'm sorry.
That was dumb.
You weren't there, in all fairness. Well, this is a devastating day.
It is.
What is the date today?
It is
September 11th.
12th, 11th.
The 11th of September.
Just remember.
Evidently, there was some significance in the Arab world.
They say the signing of the Camp David Accord.
Camp David Accords, but that was the Camp David Accords brought peace to Israel and Egypt.
Yeah, and Israel. Yeah.
Hey, Howard.
Who knows? Yeah.
This is a report from the AP just to show how horrible what just happened. The mayor says he arrived at the World Trade Center building just moments after the first blast and witnessed people jumping from the windows to their deaths.
Oh.
Man. Wow. Imagine jumping out of the World Trade Center.
No, and there's no way of surviving that.
Well, we're going to go now. There's not much more to be said. You guys can tune to TV and radio and everything else, and I'm just devastated by this.
We'll be doing what you're doing.
Yep, we'll all be sitting around waiting to hear what goes on. And this is a great day in the Arab lands. This is they're cheering for us.
Let it be the start of the worst moment of their lives.
Yeah. Let this be the day that we woke up. Please.
You know, much like when the Japanese had struck their blow against the United States, it was just the beginning of the end.
It was the end of it was the beginning of their
Let's
nightmare.
hope this is the beginning of the end.
I think this is the wake-up call, unfortunately. It's an unfortunate wake-up call, but it's here. I guess we were never
because
really...
the world has been plagued with this long enough, obviously.
Let's free the world of terrorists.
Yeah.
It's time to do it now. It's going to take about a month to really nuclear attack them and do it in a devastating way where they don't live, so that maybe only a roach will live in these Arab lands. Today is the day that we must wake up. I don't think I'm being irresponsible by saying that.
Absolutely not. If this doesn't wake us up, this is affecting our way of life. They want to take our way of life away from us.
As we sit here now, we don't even know who is alive and who is dead in our personal lives. We don't, especially those of us who live here in Manhattan.
And just imagine if we capitulate, how our lives will be affected from now on.
I'll leave you with this. The military is at full threat level, and we'll see what happens. And
that doesn't mean we're attacking anybody.
No, just means that we're on full alert, which means nothing.
Like we're waiting for another blow.
Yeah,
we might
sitting
catch
ducks.
it.
How happy were you yesterday now, looking back?
What does that mean?
Meaning just, you don't...
You were carefree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we shouldn't have been.
Because today was coming.
For 20 years, I've been on the radio saying this, and I'm not saying...
I remember you saying this when we first started working together, and I was like, shh.
Yeah. And
stop it.
I know, and I've been saying it. I said the chickens will come home to roost. It's going to happen, and we should really wipe out terrorism now, but we were afraid of what France will say. France never fought a war in their lives.
And if they say don't use airspace, take them over.
Yeah. I mean, we're the
I was
leaders.
just there like the country, but take them over. They don't know what to do with the country.
Kill them before they kill us. All right, listen, this is all empty rhetoric anyway. It's
I
up to
know.
the military.
We really don't do it.
We're just venting because we are pissed. And let's see what happens. We'll see you tomorrow.